All right, so this is some breaking news. This came out yesterday. Um, Fallout New Vegas 2 is reportedly in very early talks at Microsoft. Journalists claim and Obsidian could work on a sequel to the classic RPG. Um, so, a sequel to Fallout New Vegas is in very early talks at Microsoft, according to a journalist. Speaking on his premium giant bomb show, Grub Snacks, paywalled, transcribed by VGC, Video Games Chronicles. VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb claimed that original developer Obsidian could create a sequel to the classic RPG now that it's under the same roof as license holder Bethesda. This is very early, but people have begun to have talks and say these words and sentences, and those words are Obsidian and New Vegas 2. We're talking years and years away. There's at least an interest in conversations happening about making something like that actually in a reality. Grubb added, a lot of people at Microsoft think that this could work, and there's a lot of interest to make it happen. Fallout New Vegas 2010 is a 2010 action role-playing game developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Bethesda Softworks. A spin-off, it's not a spin-off, of the Fallout series. The game encompasses a region consisting of Arizona, California, and Nevada. Back in 2013, Obsidian CEO Fergus Urquhart claimed he was keen to create a sequel to the New Vegas and shared some of his ideas to a follow-up. Oh, we'd love to do Fallout New Vegas 2. It would be awesome. I think of going from Fallout 1 to Fallout 2, we tried to associate the two areas somewhat closely. It wasn't just, oh, we're just going to do this 2,000 miles from here. So I think if we were to do Fallout New Vegas 2, or just a new Fallout, we would probably separate it from what the internal team at Bethesda's doing. We'd keep it on the West Coast because we're West Coast people. They're East Coast, so it makes sense. Don't forget the first two Fallout games took place in like the Midwest, or maybe California. I can't remember. Microsoft acquired Obsidian in 2018. The corporation Cinemax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks, in 2021. The move saw Xbox Game Studios grow from 15 to 23 development teams with the addition of the Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios. That's a lot of IP. That's a lot of studios. But with that being said, I will give my take on this after the cut. Basically, I'll be discussing the 10 things I want to see in a Fallout 2, a Fallout New Vegas 2. So we'll get to that after the cut. All right. So this is some footage that I captured via my AMD software capture software. I know that's redundant. Application. So this is early on in the game. This is me raiding the Powder Ganger prison facility. Because fuck those guys. So I'm going to run in and murder the shit out of a lot of them. Now, I have played this game many times. I played and beat this game on the PS3 back in the day. I played and beat this game on PC numerous times. And this is me playing a heavily modded version of the game. Not the heaviest I've modded it because this game is using a version of Gamebryo that's close to Oblivion, and Oblivion is hard to mod. So, where in Skyrim you can do like 200 mods, and if you have your load order proper, if your load order is properly utilized and everything comes together, it can run without any significant issues. This game, if you're lucky, you can get like 40 mods to run properly. You're doing pretty well. Okay, so one day I might do a video showing the mods that I use for this game. etc., etc. But this video isn't about that. This segment is about the top 10 things I would like to see in a Fallout New Vegas 2. Now, with that being said, let me add some caveats to this statement. When I say top 10, I don't mean like from least to greatest or anything like that. These are just 10 things that I would like to see in a future game. So without much ado, let's get into it after the cut. So the first one I'm going with is like a no-brainer: vehicles. It does not make sense that in a universe where people can create mechanized humanoid tank armor, aka power armor, vertibirds, a subway, boats, that no one's figured out how to find an abandoned factory, refurbish it, and use it to make lower tech cars. No damn sense. Okay? Or, motorcycles, things of that nature. Makes no goddamn sense. It's one of the principal flaws, in my opinion, of Fallout. Now, I know some people will say, well, they're in-game reasons why you don't have guns, why you don't have vehicles. I say bullshit, because in Fallout 2, one of the major things you could do in Fallout 2 was get the bits and pieces to rebuild a car, and then that was your that was a better fast travel. But I think an ideal implementation of this in a Fallout New Vegas 2 would be you actually get a vehicle that, or vehicles that let you travel from point A to point B. In game. So what I mean by this is you get a motorcycle, you can use it to travel from point A to point B, or a car, and or a truck, or an ATV, something that lets you travel around. Obviously, doing this means that the game probably would not be using the creation engine, which is a derivative of Gamebryo, which is a derivative of NetImmerse, with all the Frankenstein code that Bethesda has put on top of it to make it damn near impossible for someone to go up a fucking ladder in their engine in real time. If that could happen, it would be freaking amazing. My best case want for this is you essentially, can do the things that you can do in other games that have, open world RPG aspects. You have vehicles. Worst case scenario, it's a fast travel system that lets you basically fast travel over to certain places without being ambushed. Either way, vehicles. Meaningful, legit vehicles. Well, that being said, we'll move on to number 2 after the cut. So, one of the big things that they wanted to do in Fallout New Vegas was add different playable races. Like you could be a ghoul or a super mutant. I think they should not only do that, but have sub races or sub ethnic groups within those. So, for example, you could be a human, okay? And then it would say, okay, well, where are you from? So you could be an NCR member, a ganger, as in a Great Khan ganger, or something like that. Or you could say, well, I was a member of the Followers of the Apocalypse, or the Enclave, or a former member of the Brotherhood of Steel. And these would basically give you like little bonuses to your starting character. Or you could go way out the range and become, hey, I'm a ghoul. Which would basically, your stats would be, okay, as a ghoul, you have higher intelligence and maybe certain, get a bigger bonus on tagged skills and attributes, but you're like, really heavy stuff you can't wear unless it's been customized for your character. Um, Heavy weapons you can't use because your body is just like frail. Stuff like that. Um, or hey, you're a super mutant and you can choose to be one of 3 generations of super mutants. You can be an old generation super mutant like Neil, who is very articulate and intelligent. Or you could be like really the original super mutants were superior to humanity. Except they were sterile. The only way they could make more is by kidnapping people and dumping them into FEV vats. Or you could be a Nightkin, which would give you innate stealth ability, but you're also slightly crazy. And the more you use your stealth ability, the crazier you get. Um, or you could be a new generation super mutant, the ones who are really fucking stupid. Uh, um, and playing as a new generation super mutant would basically make you like you'd have great stats except in intelligence where you're fucking dumb. And each of these would have their own strengths and weaknesses. For example, super mutants have a higher chance of mutating during a fight, of gaining mutations during a fight, which would basically kind of give them like an edge. It's like, oh, you mutated to be hot blooded, which basically gives you a defense against energy-based attacks, or like, or if you're a ghoul, you can mutate to become um, savior of the Brightlands or some shit, which would make you more, um, which would make it so that radiation not only healed you, but increased all of your stats by a decent amount. But when you're not in irradiated areas, you actually get weaker. Mute, but stuff like that would be really interesting, in my opinion, of what they could do in a Fallout New Vegas too. So, with that being said, let's move on to number 3 after the cut. So, one of the big things that kind of bothered me with Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 was that they added, like, they took away perks and made perks into kind of like you get a card, you get like 5 cards and you pick one and that's your perk, which was kind of fucking stupid. And then they got rid of attributes entirely in Fallout uh, 4, and everything just became about perks. Um, which was kind of stupid. I think they should bring back perks, attributes, skills, and they can keep the mutations, but they should mutations should be a risk reward type thing, like or reward risk thing, where hey, I just got this mutation. Let's say you get a mutation that makes you see better at night, but it makes because you have the ability to see really well at night. During the day, you have to wear special glasses, or you take a hit to your awareness, something like that. Your ability to see takes a hit, uh, kind of like Riddick in the Chronicles of Riddick or Pitch Dark, something like that. I think they should bring back those types of things from the old Fallout games, like special and all that stuff. It shouldn't just be just perk based, because just straight up perks kind of defeat the purpose of having an RPG where you're leveling up and becoming more powerful as time goes on. Um, and I think that a good template for it is how it was done in Fallout New Vegas and the New World. Not the New World. The Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds, where you basically had like stats, and then those stats would, like, once they reached a certain threshold, you could then pick a perk that would boost that stat, or they would be kind of commiserate with the other stuff that was going on with that stat. I think that's the way to go in a Fallout New Vegas too, um, where you have base stats, and your base you have your hard stats, which are like your special stats, your strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck, right? And then you have like your hard stats inform your attributes, so your attributes and skills. So your strength would inform how much damage you do with melee attacks, how much you can carry. Your perception would influence your awareness, so how well you can sneak up on enemies, how well enemies can sneak up on you, all that type of shit. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that crunchy number crunching, that crunchy in-depth number crunching that RPG fans like myself enjoy. So we can have different character builds that enable the keyword role playing, which leads to the next number 4 after the cut. So Fallout New Vegas, the original Fallout New Vegas, you could roleplay, but you still, no matter what you did, you were the courier, a guy who was delivering a package, got ambushed, had your package stolen, was shot in the head. But then from that point, you could basically, after being pulled out of your grave and all this type of shit, you could play the game any way you damn well pleased at that point. Now, with that being said, I feel that a good Fallout game could, Fallout New Vegas 2, could expand upon that. I said earlier that it would be cool in number 2 to have multiple playable characters. Well, what if whatever starting event that is the touchstone for the main quest going along in the game, what if that main event just slightly changes depending on which starting character you choose to be? Human, no matter what of the little subgroups you can be a part of in the beginning, or super mutant, or ghoul, whatever. And then over time, synth, whatever. Those things would basically color what your character's basic motivations are for their own personal quest. What I'm saying is, your character should have their own personal quest on top of the main quest that they're trying to do. They did this in Fallout New Vegas, where you're trying to get revenge because, you were ambushed, had your package stolen, was shot in the head. But then, there's something bigger that ties in with your main story. But either way, no matter what character builds you have, the game should really focus on getting you to be more into the role-playing aspect of a Fallout New Vegas 2. So that being said, let's move on to number 5 after the cut. So, Fallout 4 gave you the settlement system. Fallout 76 had you building base camps. I personally thought that the settlement system was a waste of developer time in Fallout 4. And I think it was kind of like, a kind of annoying conceit that was in Fallout 76. But with that being said, I know some people will probably want this, so let's split the difference. Let's have the game have maybe like, it would be cool in the game where maybe there's like an abandoned town that you wind up saving, and eventually a quest line opens up where you can revitalize that town and turn it into a city. Then you can basically build shit in that area for that town / eventual city. And that's it. I don't think that making everything about, building settlements, like the settlement system in Fallout 4, in my opinion, sucked, and I didn't like it. But I know there's some people who are going to be like, well, I liked it, etc., etc., and I want to be able to build shit. Well, here you go. This one area, you can build things. However, if they can't come up with a good idea to have settlements and shit, then I don't think they should have it. And that's my own personal opinion. Like there's other things that the development could be spent on other than hey, guess what? You can build a house in the game. It's like whatever. With that being said, I'll move on to number 6 after the cut. So one of the big issues that I have in Fallout, in every Fallout game I've played, modern 3D open world Fallout game, the companions suck. Every companion is basically just either running into trouble or not doing their job. Now, I will be fair, Fallout New Vegas was a little bit better than others. Like, I think most of the companions in Fallout 4 were just a waste of space. You know, like if I'm trying to sneak around, they're talking. If I'm trying to avoid traps, they're blundering into them. In Fallout 76, I haven't played, but I mean, I guess it's just as shitty. Just from, you know, the whole debacles that occurred with it. But with that being said, I would like to see the better companion AI in a future Fallout game. I think that would be a good thing. In my humble opinion. There need to be better weapons. I mean, not weapons. There need to be better companions. You should have better companions in a future Fallout game. And what I mean by better companions, I literally do mean better fucking companions, like better companion AI. You know, like if a character is a sniper, they should be a fucking sniper. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna run into battle with you because I'm a sniper. That's not my thing. I will, however, go up on this vantage point and snipe motherfuckers that you tag. Shit like that. I think that would make a better you know, companion AI for a future for Fallout New Vegas too. So that being said, let's move on to number 7 after the cut. So I think there should be an expanded vat system. Hear me out, okay? When I say I think there should be an expanded vat system, I think that the base stats, the base version of the VAT system that you start the game with, the hey, I slowed down time, you know, time stopped, and then I basically aimed for certain parts of a dude of a enemy's body in order to, you know, do certain types of damage, like you know, blind them, make them cripple them, shoot the weapon out of their hands, that type of thing. That should stay. But I do think that the core aspect of the VAT system, in my humble opinion, should be instead on like that should be your basic version. But I think depending on the character build you have in the game, I think you should also have a VAT system that is also kind of you should be able to get upgrades to your VAT system in order to essentially tailor it to your gameplay style. Like if you're a melee character, then you should be able to get a VAT system that basically kind of lets you do better melee attacks, or you know, it's more likely you'll be able to do special melee attacks, that type of thing. You know, if you like using explosives, you should get a VAT system that lets you do that, or at least programs you can put into the VATs in order to customize it for what your character build is. But that's my own personal opinion. That's my own personal little opinion on that. Which leads to number 8 after the cut. So this is number 8. I think special perks should be earned. Um, not just given away. In Fallout 4, the opening of that game, you're basically given power armor and a minigun, and you kill a Deathclaw in the beginning of the fucking game. That's bad game design, in my opinion. Because Deathclaws are fucking dangerous, and you shouldn't be allowed to just mow one down with a chain gun. Um, that being said, I think that, learning how to use power armor, learning how to use certain vehicles, those should be perks that you earn by doing side quests or like major side quest chains. Like, hey, if you do a side quest chain in Fallout New Vegas 2 where you help out the Followers of the Apocalypse or the Brotherhood of Steel or the Enclave, or hell, maybe a special weapons branch of the NCR, they're like, hey, yeah, we'll teach you how to use power armor. Hell, we'll even give you some. That would make more sense than you just being given these abilities early on in the game. I think certain perks should be earned by doing certain special quests. Like, let's say you follow the quest of a Native American tribe in California who are like, we survived the thing because we didn't have anything that anyone wanted to bomb. So, you know, like, if you hunt down these certain, like, legendary creatures and bring back a trophy, like either a non-lethal trophy where like you tranquilize them and you cut off a part of their horn or something like that, or you kill them, you gain the ability to do extra damage to creatures of that type. Like maybe you do extra damage to death claws, maybe you do extra damage to rad scorpions, maybe you do extra damage to um, those weird rattlesnake coyote creatures, something like that. What I'm saying is that really powerful abilities should be earned in the game and not given simply because for plot convenience and to make the character feel badass. They did that to the nth degree in Fallout 4, and it did not. It felt lazy. It felt fucking lazy. So with that being said, we'll get to number 9 after the cut. So one of the major issues with Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, that Fallout 4 did correct is that movement is much better in Fallout 4 than it is in Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Of course, Fallout 3 and New Vegas are using basically the Oblivion engine, so not really not really surprising. So, in my estimation, I would like to see in a Fallout New Vegas 2 for them to use an engine that precipitates um, better combat and better movement. I would like to be able to play a Fallout game where I am literally able to essentially um, emulate this action. One time I was playing Fallout 4 and I was raiding a raider camp or like a super mutant camp, one of the two. It was either a super mutant camp or a raider camp. And basically, I had power armor on, and I jumped through a window, an open window, had like shot the shit out of some fucking super mutants, jumped out of another window onto a rooftop, shot the shit out of the super mutant that was trying to attack me from the ground floor, then jumped down and opened a treasure chest. That fluidity of movement should also be in this game in terms of like not for you all the time, but if you're in power armor or your character has the stats to handle it, then you should be able to move like that. Like moving around should not be a chore. It shouldn't feel like you're gliding around on in third person, like you're gliding around on ice covered in Vaseline and KY jelly, which is what it feels like in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Now I know that's just the weaknesses of that engine, of that iteration of the creation of the Gamebryo engine, and that they've gotten better. But, you know, it's an issue. It's an issue that shouldn't be there, but it's an issue. So, with that being said, we can move on to number 10 after the cut. So, number 10 is a big one. I think there should definitely be mod support in a Fallout New Vegas 2. Um, you know, fans of Fallout, modding fans of Fallout who like adding new, interesting content and settings and locations and vehicles and weapons, they should be able to do that. There should be a decent amount of mod support. I'm not saying it should be day one. I think they should wait like maybe 3 or 4 months. But 3 or 4 months into the release of the game, you should be getting mod developer kits, or you know, some type of toolkit that makes it easier to create modules and stuff like that. There was supposed to be mod support for the Outer Worlds, but like it never materialized because I don't think it sold enough. Mod support for games like this add a lot of extra content, and they make the game more. They add to the lifetime, to the playability of the game. You know, there's a reason Skyrim has been around for so long. Not because it's a great game, but because you can add mods to add a lot of new content to the title, which is always good. Um, so yeah, mod support. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. So that being said, I'll give my overview after the cut. So it's time to get to my overview of the 10 things I would really like to see in a Fallout New Vegas 2, made by Obsidian, not Bethesda, because fuck that studio. Number one, vehicles. Really want to see vehicles. Does not make sense that you have a recovering society and a recovering technological society, and they can make robots, they can make power armor, but apparently someone making a motorcycle or a vehicle can't do it. They can make vertibirds. They can make and repair vertibirds. They can make plasma guns. But apparently, a car, too much. An internal combustion engine, impossible. Um, second thing, different playable races and factions. It'd be cool if they had like 5 different races you could choose. You could be human, you could be a cyborg, you could be a synth, you could be a ghoul or a super mutant, and then you'd have like sub factions, sub races within that. Things that would be treated as sub races. So you could be a human, you could be a former ganger, so a Great Khan, or a um, I forgot the name of the other groups, but like one of those, or you could be, I'm a former member of the Enclave, I'm a former member of the Brotherhood of Steel, etc., etc. You could be like a synth. You could choose which generation of synth. You could be a cyborg, so you could be like heavily cybernetic, or where you look human but inside your body is cybernetic components, like Paladin Steel from Fallout 3. Or you could be like, hey, my arm got ripped off in an accident and they gave me a cybernetic arm. Either way, that would be cool. Number 3, the return of perks, attributes, skills. And they can add mutations, but they need to be risk-reward mutations for your character. What I mean by this is, you know, like, hey, I got a mutation that basically gives me better eyesight at night because, I get basically night shine like a cat or something. But during the day, my eyesight suffers. Like my perception goes down because too much bright light hurts my eyes. Kind of like Riddick from Pitch Black. Um, Number 4, real role playing. There needs to be real role playing. You shouldn't be able to do everything unless you try really hard at it. Like there's certain things that you do that should cut you off from other things. There should be meaningful choices that change up how the game plays out, depending on how you make those choices. If Obsidian's making this, Obsidian makes games like that all the time, so I'm not worried. Number 5, settlements should either be well utilized or not there at all. What I mean by this is, if you're gonna have settlements, then they need to be. They shouldn't be everywhere just because they want you to build shit up. Maybe there's like a town or a city that's like falling apart, it's dying, and you you become the mayor of the city and you can rebuild it, and you can just build in that area. I'd be okay with that, but don't do that shit they did in Fallout 4 where they're like, yeah, settlements, it's a big thing, and then it was like underutilized. You only had to build settlements in like 2 or 3 areas, and that was it. That's stupid and a waste of time. And developer resources. Number 6, better companion AI. Companions should be smarter. Like if a character is a melee character, they should utilize melee tactics. If a companion character is a sniper, they should utilize sniping tactics. Okay, it shouldn't be the same shit over and over again. It should be different. You know, like if I'm sneaking, my companion AI characters, if they don't have a stat that's high enough to help them sneak properly, they should be like, look, I can't do that. I'm gonna hang out here, or you know, I'm gonna go around back so that they can't sneak out the back or some shit like that. Don't just have them following me, tripping traps and shit like that. That's annoying. Number 7, an expanded vat system. I like VATs. I prefer VATs as it was, like the old school version, but I know some people like the new school version. So you should be able to download VATs programs to essentially make your VATs better, essentially speaking. Or at least tailor it to you. Like, if you like to use explosives, you should be able to get a VATS upgrade or program that you can download to your Pip-Boy that essentially makes your VATS more, lets you use explosives better or something like that. That's all I'm saying. Number 8. Special perks should be earned and or learned. What I mean by this is that, you know, stuff like power armor usage, vehicle usage, certain types of special weapons, you don't have you need training for that. That is a special skill. You shouldn't just be able, hey, I picked up a rocket launcher and be able to use it immediately. That should be a learned ability that you earn, or, you know, there should be things that you should, they should be earned perks. At the end of a quest chain, not just, hey, I picked up power armor and now I can automatically use it. That's stupid and poor design. Next, better movement in combat. That's one thing Fallout 4 did do well, which is the movement in combat was really good. That's it. That's the only thing it did that was done well. Everything else kind of fell apart. And number 10, I want to see better mod support. You know, the Outer Worlds didn't really get mod support. Like, there's mods you can use for it, but it's not a lot because you don't really have a modding kit for it. There should be this Fallout New Vegas 2 should have a ton of mod support. And that's the end. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Give me your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree? Are there some things that you think Fallout New Vegas 2 should have as well? That's the end of this video. If you would like to get in touch with the channel, you can reach me at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com. There's also a Discord link in the description. So, peace. We have a BS Buster podcast every Wednesday and Saturday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. So with that being said, have a good day.